Hello everyone and welcome to today's race. We are back at our Summer Annual BleedRunning, SABR as we like to call it, tournament. This will be a best of 3 Bleed 2 race between Altafen and Noobii on a story new game hard. Since we have a new game here, they're only going to be seeing weapons and movement abilities available on a new save file. That means that we'll only see pistols and katana combo and their separated versions, along with the default triple dash. It's a double-elimination tournament. And so once a player loses a best of 3, they fall into the redemption bracket for a second chance, and the winners will move on in the primaries. Sorry for the delay, everyone. We had a little bit of technical issues, but looks like we've got everything all settled now, and we'll be starting our race any moment here. Looks like we got both of our races ready in the start position. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, go! Now we can get some game audio in here as well. Hello everyone, thank you again for joining us today. We're in the middle of our SABR tournament right now. We've got some good races for you to show today. Oh, I think Noobii might be listening in the background. So we may be going no game audio here for this one. Sorry about that, everyone. We'll get it fixed before the next race starts. Alright, so the first boss we're going to be looking at here today is the little intro boss. Shows us how to slow down time, one of the few key elements we have in this speedrun. And now we're up to our first boss of the match. There is a small little time skip there. If you're able to slow down time, you can actually skip a small animation that they'll make. But we're having a quick good fight here against the shield invaders. So let's get into the game itself a little bit here. Some of the key aspects of the game Bleed 2 is the triple dash we talked about at the beginning, and the ability to reflect bullets along with slowing down time. For reflecting bullets, we're only able to reflect those purple bullets. The yellow bullets we cannot reflect, unless we're playing a different character, which is known as the Rival, which we'll see later on in this run. But they can only be controlled in the alternate version of our speedrun, our freestyle races, where we have a lot more access to different weapons, and it changes up the route just a little bit. Helps us with a lot of the bosses. But now we'll get to our first actual boss of the game, which is our shield invader. I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier. I'm sorry, no, we're on to the mirror core. Wow, I'm sorry guys, it's been a long day already. We've had a little bit of issues. We'll get it all sorted here in a second. But the main thing about this is you've got a few different combinations that the boss will give us. We'll see a few purple bullets we can reflect here. He might shoot some missiles like you can see in Altafen's screen right now. And he also likes to use their body against us as well. But both races are finished off quickly and moving on to the next section. So, in our next section here, we find ourselves in the highway and a lot of kiddies invading these highways. We play as Rin as in this game. We are returning from Bleed 1 as the heroine of that tale. But, unfortunately, since the invasion has happened, and we haven't been playing a little too many video games and not doing enough fighting off, the people themselves have lost confidence in us. So we must journey and try to take down Valentine. This boss right here you'll see is the Kitty Chopper. It's a mid-stage boss, one of 2 mid-stage bosses before we get to the final boss of this stage. But the Kitty Chopper goes down quick from Noobii. Noobii's now moving into the little bit more difficult section of this level here, where you see a lot of kitties just hovering around and showing up. And those kitties will constantly come at us if we don't move, so we gotta just make sure we keep constantly moving and get through this section. And here we see a return from Bleed 1, the Rival, our nemesis. And it seems like he's going off to try to take on Valentine, but hey, that's our job. We want to do that, not him. And we have Altafen just about to get there now. Just gets one more little truck segment. There he goes. As Noobii just finishes off. Noobii's having some amazing platforming and movement here. It's barely see any slowing down at all. There is a way that with the triple dash, if you are angled down at the right angle, you can actually just continue your dash into the ground and it'll reset your dash count. But now we have our first check at Valentine. Valentine is invading the Earth. One of the big differences between a story new game and a arcade freestyle race is that in a freestyle race we would be able to just pull out our rockets and break that blue bubble shield that she has around her. But unfortunately, we don't have access to those weapons in this run, so we're going to have to use the help of our rival here and that big old whale core that he's driving around in to break that shield for us. Then we can actually do some damage to Valentine. And with a little bit of help from the rival, looks like Noobii's just got one more cycle, and then he'll be done with this stage. While Alter is now fighting off Valentine and just getting the rival to help out. So the whole trick about this is to make sure that the rival's truck doesn't take damage from the attacks. As you see right there, Altafen, unfortunately, there's just one small debris that hit it. If any damage happens to the whale core that the rival's driving, they will not shoot out their big, powerful weapon to break the shield. So we got to play a little defense here, and you know, that was a great reflections there by Altafen. And one more cycle for him, and they'll be all done. While Noobii is now taking to the sky, as you see, it's no longer a truck. We are now flying in the air. Most of Bleed 2, as you can see from this point, is there's a small platforming section and then a boss or a mini-boss fight. It's a really nice flow to the game. We'll see a small little section here until we get everybody's favorite cowboy coming up for Noobii in a moment. Altafen now taking to the skies. Yeehaw! We got our red sprite on the map right now. Red sprite will give us either purple or yellow large bullets there that we can deflect. There's also a lot of bullet sponge dudes on the screen there. We want to do our best not to shoot those, because if we're shooting all the minions on the screen, that means that we're not doing any damage to red sprite. Noobii did a great job there, making sure red sprite says her final yeehaw. And Altafen, yeehaw Altafen, time for your fight now. Noobii switching over to the katana alone in that section there, doing a good job of just getting all those enemies as they group up. And Noobii now faces off against our most curious and little known about the ninja. Is that a Bushido ninja? We don't know. Not much is known about the ninja, just that they have a sword and that they like to... Ooh, Noobii there going for the more dangerous katana strats here. With regular bullets shooting at the ninja, they'll deflect them back at us, or deflect them out wide, and we won't be able to do damage. But if we switch to katana there, you can get damage in. That was a very good RNG cycle for Noobii, I agree. Handily dealt with that ninja. Altafen's working on phase 1 of the ninja. Unfortunately misses a small deflection there, while Noobie's working on just trying to stay alive in this next section here before they going off to face the final boss of this level. And you should start to see some missiles coming on Noobie's screen in a second here, and they are ready to go. No longer locked into that whale core, as the whale core goes bye-bye as it collides with one of those missiles. Noobii stepping up and ready to face Rex Rocket. Rex Rocket, yes, we want to see those purple missiles being shot out there. You can also shoot out a barrage of smaller bullets that can be either yellow or blue. Yellow or purple. Alta is now making their way towards the missile segment as Noobii finishes it off. Noobie's heading into the warship. Pretty low fall for Noobii there. Yes, I missed that. I'm sorry, I was checking Altafen's. But yes, When you're fighting Rex Rocket, your key is you want to destroy him and be as low to the screen as possible. After the battle, Rin will fall off the screen, so the lower you are, the just less distance she has to travel after. Oh, unfortunately, Altafen does take a death on Rex Rocket. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. I could not see his health total before he started, as Noobii is going on to Dr. Mario's reject, Spafchammer. Spafchammer likes to throw out all these space pills everywhere. Just throwing them out and then using gravity to rotate them around, but Noobii does not want to deal with any of that and destroys the chat spammer nice and quick. Well, Altafen just destroys Rex Rocket, and also with a nice low drop. Now Noobie's going into our only auto-scroller, true auto-scroller of the map. The auto-scroller in this game has a little caveat to it too. You definitely do not want to take any damage while going through this auto-scroller. The auto-scroller will speed up as you progress through it, but if you take damage, it will reset to its original speed, so that's definitely a big time loss there. It's actually on the harder difficulties not as much of a time loss, as the acceleration speed is much, much quicker in the harder difficulties. Noobie's done with that. He's flying through. He's getting ready for his boss refights. These are all Bleed 1 bosses we're going to be seeing up right here. This is the first one to be the Robo Guppy. It's a tough part of the run. You have you have four bosses that you have to fight all in a row. Luckily, on the story mode, we are able to have unlimited lives and pretty generous checkpoints. But if this was an arcade run, we are forced to only with one life to complete the whole game. So with having no health pickups in between these fights, it does make it a little dangerous. But Robo, Gippy, and Stu are being handled pretty nicely by Noobii here. He's doing a nice dance with them. Each one will shoot out one color alone, one being purple, one being yellow. And Noobii finishes that out. That was a very good reflections at the end of that fight there. Altafen's working his way through the auto-scroller, just finishing it up. About half a stage behind, so not that far behind at all. Noobie's working on Robo White. Robo White's one of those difficult ones in New Game. Robo White has that whole shield there. Noobie's doing a great strat, switching to the katana there just to get in extra hits. The katana can pass through the shield, unlike our bullets. In the freestyle modes there, you'll see most of the runners switching to rockets, as the rocket impact damage will actually pass through the shield as well that Robo White has. The last boss for Noobii on this rush is Robo Bunny. Robo Bunny likes to teleport all over the place, and there's a few different moves that she can do, but I believe we got to see actually both of them very briefly from Noobii. Got one of each attack. They'll shoot out their own version of some space pills, and also try to throw down cars at us. Altafen, working on his dance with Robo, Gippy, and Stu, does take a death. But right back into it, gonna go start. That's what we were talking about, how in the story game we have generous checkpoints, so we get to start right back at those two there. Noobii now is making their way towards the segment slider section. Segment slider is an interesting boss here. A lot of the new game, it's based on, you see all those segments sliding across the screen there. We're going to see a core pop in. Segment slider segment, exactly. We're really hoping for one of those middle threes. Noobie's getting some nice RNG right here. We want those middle sections to go out as soon as possible. As soon as one of those middle three sections go, we can start doing damage to it. Noobii switching to the katana, trying to get it in there. Just constantly doing as much damage as possible to segment slider. Almost got it done. Could be this pass. Yes, does not even have to wait for another screen transition for the enemy. Altafen just cleaning up Robo White here. Gonna go on to Robo Bunny. Noobii switching over to the katana for this section here, as the blades will just destroy all these purple balls for us, and some of these purple globs will have little bullets inside of them, so as soon as you break them, you gotta be careful and dodge those bullets coming out, or reflect if they're purple. Next up on the docket is the Nemesis Corps, Phase 1. We are looking at a pretty easy opening start to this fight. Only a few different combinations that they can do against us. Basically, we want to keep a lookout for the center eye there. The center eye, before they shoot out their bullets, will flash either purple or yellow, giving us the clue as to what bullet, if we can reflect it or not. The segment slider version 2, the Nemesis Corps version 2 here is very difficult. They have a hard shell around them, so we need to find a way to break that armor. Luckily, they shoot bombs that we can position back on top of them and have them break off the armor shell, and that's a nice reflection there. In the arcade version, in the freestyle version of the runs, this is another segment here where we'll rely on our rocket launchers to break those for us, but Noobii says, I don't even need a rocket launcher for this, watch. Alta now onto the segment slider, handily destroying it. Yep. Noobii now trying to make their way to the anti-battalion, the last boss here up on the warship itself. Altafen's trying to make their way towards the Nemesis Corps now. We just got a little brief view of our Nemesis, Valentine. But this is Anti-Battalion, a collection of bubbles. What we want to look for in this fight is we want to see some Pac-Mans. We want to do a little cross game here. We do get a Saw. Saw's not terrible. Saw is one of the better forms that Anti-Battalion can take. These deflections here, these bullets, these are all deflectibles, so Noobii does a great job deflecting them all. And the Shark's the Shark's further down on the list of what we like here. There's not a lot of time we can do a lot of damage to the Shark, but Noobii destroys Anti-Battalion without even getting a single Pac-Man. Altafen knocking those bombs back on top of the Nemesis Corps, trying to expose that inner core to deal damage. Nemesis Corps has one of the weirdest movement patterns of any boss I've ever seen in any video game. It is very hard to predict exactly which direction it's going. Noobii now finishing off the warship, sending it crashing to the ground below. It is time to face off against Valentine. While Altafen does get that final deflection and moving on, trying to make their way to the anti-battalion. Valentine here, we'll have 5 phases of Valentine here. First phase is more all about minions, getting all those bullet sponges on there, throwing out fodder, trying to just block any of Rin's bullets from hitting her. And Noobii handles that first phase pretty well. We're going on to the second phase now. The people are still behind Valentine, though. She was able to do too much damage, and the people just don't have the faith in Rin anymore. Let's hope this fight continues. Perhaps the people will turn. Maybe remember who their hero really is. And that's phase 2 down, as Altafen is now deflecting bullets from Anti-Battalion. Gets a little bit of a shock there. And Noobii's trying to do as much damage as possible. You want to try to shoot Valentine as quick as possible when she's trying to shoot out those lasers. If you hit her with a bullet, she won't actually shoot out the laser and she'll teleport to a new location. Ooh, Noobii gets a great deflection there as Valentine came out the portal. Destroys that phase of Valentine. Now you'll see Noobii taking some damage here. That's to set up a death skip right here. We're going to skip a small animation that Valentine would do when she rises back again. The final phase here, we'll notice that Valentine has her blue little shield. Unfortunately, she seems to just be moving a bit. We need a taunt now that the people are back on our side. They're ready to throw cans and stuff And yes, we need those cans to break that. And there we go. Noobii's trying now to stun lock Valentine, as if you can time your taunts correctly, she will not be able to move from this location, and smoked! Noobii handles there pretty easily. It was a little rough at the beginning. There was just some slight misses there on those taunts, but as soon as that first taunt landed, lockdown. Altafen now starting their showdown. We get a nice little boost there from the rival, bringing us to the showdown itself. Altafen starting off in the minion phase, trying to do as much damage, trying not to actually shoot the enemies, but just try to keep the damage going on Valentine herself. And Noobii's all done playing video games, because guess who showed up to ruin their fun? The rival. Just when you thought the game was over. Just when you thought you saved the world. Greed and envy come rearing its ugly heads again, and now Noobii has to deal with the rival. The first phase of the rival is known as the Mantis Core. As you can see, it's very Mantis-like. Oof, there's a great reflection there, and Noobii wastes no time taking down the Mantis Core. Now we'll see the rival in a familiar vehicle. That is the Whale Core. Whale Core was helping us out earlier in the fight, but now it's time to take down that Whale Core. Altafen working their way to the third phase, I believe. Now, yes, teleport phase. As Noobii's going up against the Whale Core. Whale Core likes to go flying all over the screen. Let's stop from the right, go to the left, go to the left, go to the right, drop a bunch of bombs. We're looking for those purple missiles that we can deflect back at them. Just like Noobii demonstrated there. Ooh, 3 really good deflections there. Leaving the Whale Core at less than 25% health now. Slowing down time. Nice job, Noobii. Slows down time just to keep Whale Core on screen just for a few more ticks. Gets that extra damage in there and doesn't have to wait for the next pass. Whale Core is gone. That means that the rival's gonna pull out the Spider Core Mark II for us. Amazing reflection there by Noobii. That missile barely even left Spider Core's mouth before he reflected it back in. Spider Core doing a lot of flips, unfortunately, though. It has a chance to stay all in one side, but all these deflections, it just keeps getting knocked out. And another great example of slowing down time, switching to the katana and getting more damage in before it can fall off the screen. Noobii's putting on a clinic right now. Altafen now into the bubble stage. He's going to need to use the crowd to taunt. Let's see if he can get that lockdown while the crawling core is moving into place. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Altafen got the lockdown yet. Hopefully he can get that in the next part. Noobii's just trying to do as much damage to that center red part there, the crawling core. That's the area where we want to be aiming. Doing some time slowing down there, making sure they're out of the way of those laser beams that are shooting out. And Alta does finish off Valentine. As Noobii finishes off the crawling core. Noobii may take an intentional death right here. They are on the health to one hit will kill them. We'll see what they decide to do. Yep, that's definitely an intentional death on Noobii's screen. They get that full health, start that fight all over again, just to make sure that you're not 3/4 of the way through the fight when you take an unfortunate hit. Noobii doing a good job of switching between pistols and the katana there, maximizing the damage. I believe that is a technique known as the slash shot. Altafen now onto the Mantis Core, getting his deflections in. Noobii finishes off the first health bar. Just one more health bar to take out, and then the rival and the game is done. Amazing tennis match there. That was so fast I couldn't even really see that ball go that bullet go bouncing back and forth. Really intense. Can Noobii? Yes, Noobii finishes it off there. Now we're just waiting for that game clear. Noobii will take the first race of tonight with a time of 23:54. And we're going to make sure that Noobii gets his nice Sunday. Alrighty, guys. We'll just give us a moment here. We'll take a quick break before we start up the next race. And welcome back, everybody. We're just getting ready to start our second race of the night, with Noobii taking the first race. Looks like both of our races are all set, hovering over the hard. So we're going to be starting in 3, 2, 1, go! Alrighty, everybody, welcome back again. We are once again back into the Bleed 2 race. Let's see if we can actually turn Noobie's audio up just a scooch here. That looks good. Alrighty, so we are back into round 2. We are just finishing off the Shield Invader, the first intro boss of the race. Both of our racers are making their way through, looking for their second intro boss next, which will be the Rolling Invader, which shows us how to slow down time and just absolutely decimate our opponents. Noobii making short work of their opponent, and Altafen right behind them. Blast Jumper is our next boss, the first stage official main boss. Noobii doing a good job of avoiding all those falling projectiles. Alta getting a nice reflection there. We've got about half of a boss health bar between our two races today. And Noobii finishes it off, moving on into the tunnel before the highway. Alta right behind, not even letting that second shot go off from the Blast Jumper. Noobii now into the auto-scroller section. Highway to the danger zone, exactly. Little do they know that Rin herself is the actual danger zone, though. So now we're going to be jumping up to the Miracore Mark II. Miracore Mark II, if you remember from the first race, gives us a few different attack patterns there. Noobii was able to reflect as they tried to attack with the body, and was glowing purple, which means, hey, if it glows purple, we can probably deflect that. Altafen also going the same. Looks like they got their deflection in as well. Still just a simple half of a boss health bar away from separating our races. Noobii clearing the level. Getting a nice A rank there. Unfortunately, our style and rank does not really matter too much in the new game category of our race. That style point that style letter grade you should see up there in the top right corner affects one of our weapons in our freestyle modes, which is the weapon called White. And the higher the style we have, the more damage that does. And if you have a chance to check out a freestyle race, it is very interesting to see. I would highly recommend you check out our YouTube or either the VODs over on the Twitch. Noobii now going up against the kitty chopper. How many kitties can you fit in that chopper, I wonder? Getting some good deflections in there, shooting those purple missiles right back at the kitty chopper, and finishing it off as Altafen is starting their kitty chopper fight, getting in their deflections perfectly. Noobii now going into the true tunnel before the highway. It's like a flying car there. Yes, I wonder. We need to test this theory someday. We need to buy a helicopter and fit a lot of kitties in there. I don't know, I think we can beat 10. Noobii now fighting off against the rival from Bleed 1. The old yellow-haired bandit. Trying to, you know, one-up us. Trying to take on Valentine themselves, but we got some different opinions on that situation there. Noobii alternating between the pistols and the slash, doing that slash shot again. It's a very good tactic that I haven't seen a lot of our racers run, but I can really see the damage increase coming out of Noobii when they are employing that slash shot strategy, alternating between a pistol shot and a katana slice. Noobii now going up against their first battle against Valentine. Fortunately, with that blue sphere again, we can't do anything against it. Altafen, after the screen transition, does take a death there to get that health back. In new game, like we've talked about during the last race, new game, we have unlimited lives. We can die as much as we want, and we have some pretty generous checkpoints in this game. So a lot of times you may see our racers taking a intentional death there to reset the health. The fight with here, using the rival to help us out, like I said in the last race, we are looking to make sure that the rival doesn't take any damage. That truck cannot take any damage if we want them to shoot that barrier off of Valentine. Noobii clearing out all that debris, Altafen also clearing out all that debris. Looks like our racers have just about, maybe just slightly more than 50% of a health loss between the two racers right now. So still, one mistake and it could be anyone's game. Oh, unfortunately, Altafen missed that first deflection there. Going to have to take on the big truck. Does clear that out. Breaks that shield. One more rotation for Altafen, and they'll be moving on from Valentine. As Noobii is climbing high in the sky, going towards everybody's favorite cowboy, the Red Sprite. Altafen does clear off Valentine. Let's blow off those truck tires and take to the sky. Noobii, yeehaw, Noobii. Noobie's going to try to avoid shooting any of the minion ads, the bullet sponges as we like to call them, on the screen right now. Because when you're shooting a minion, you're not shooting a boss. So that health time, we had that health bar, we want to take that down as fast as possible. And yeehaw! Noobii finishes off the Red Sprite. Altafen now working their way towards also the same Red Sprite we just saw. It'll be the last time we'll get to say a yeehaw this race. Noobii switching over to the katanas for this next section before the ninja here. Just letting all those seeking drones just come right towards them and just one katana slice it off. Noobii now going up against the enigmatic ninja. Is it a male? Is it a female? Is it a nonconformist? Is it a traditionalist? Is it a samurai? Is it a ninja? All these questions and more, we don't know. But Noobii does not care either, as they have defeated the ninja. Altafen also switching over to the katana strats there on the little missile drone section before ninja. As you can see, Altafen is also jumping forward towards the ninja during the first stage here, one of those deflections. Trying to just save as much time as possible. Noobii finishing it off their whale core section, and now moving on, ready to fight Rex Rocket. Rex Rocket is a rocket that shoots a bunch of rockets. So the name aptly is applied. We want to look for the purple missiles here, so we can deflect them back. If you notice that if we do not get a chance to deflect the missile, or if the missile is yellow, the missile will explode when it hits the far side of the screen and shoot missiles back towards us from the opposite direction, so it's always good. Noobii again, getting that low, finishing that fight very close to the bottom of the screen there. Reducing the amount of time it takes to fall completely off the screen after the fight goes. And now Noobie's on the warship. as Altafen is ready to start missile hopping, making their way towards Rex Rocket, and Noobii is ready to go against the Jab Spammer. We got a bunch of space pills here. Actually, we don't. Noobii doesn't like space pills, appears like, because as soon as all those space pills came out, they were all slashed away by a nice katana strikes. Making handiwork of the Shaft Spammer, and about ready to move on to the auto-scroller section. Altaf is working on Rex Rocket, trying to deflect as many of those bullets back at the boss as possible. Noobii here, going through the auto-scroller. It's picking up its pace. The auto-scroller itself will continue to pick up speed and acceleration as far as the level rotates, so long as we don't take damage. That's the big thing here. This level here, you definitely do not want to take damage. There is a significant time loss if you do. But Noobii looks like they're doing well, not taking any damage, and progressing beyond the auto-scroller. As Altafen is ready to step on board the warship. One of the other things that we won't see in this race, unfortunately, is the health pickups in the game. In the freestyle mode, since we only do have one life, the game does let us get a health pickup at the start of levels. And Noobie's onto their boss rush. Going up against Robo Guppy next. First. Looking to get a nice reflection in there, and that should be it for Robo Guppy. Let's move on to those dancing birdie worms of Robo Gippy and Robo Stew. I'm not 100% sure which one the purple one is, if Stew's yellow or if Stew is purple, but I'm sure someone from our community should knows. But Noobie's doing a great dance. I always feel like there's a dance when you're fighting these bosses here, the Gippy and Stew, as they like to be in tandem. One will only be on the screen at a time. See, there we go. Jack is coming in with the true information there. Alrighty, Noobii finishing it off, the loving worms, and moving on to a Robo White. Yeah, was watching Noobii as he will rotate, going from pistols to katanas. If that shield is blocking our way, you'll see him switch to katanas, get real close so that the katana swipes will go right beyond that half-circle shield that Robo White has. And that's all she wrote for Robo White. Next up, we have the Robo Bunny. Noobii doing a good job of slowing down time while she isn't teleporting all around the place, so that they can just do as much damage as possible while Robo Bunny is on the screen. We'll see Robo Bunny, they'll do beyond just teleporting all over the screen. They'll call down a car on us, or they'll try to shoot their own version of the space bills. And that is a level clear for Noobii. Alta is now just finishing off Guppy, and now moving on to Gibby and Stew, as Noobii continues to progress deeper into the warship. Noobii is one of those racers where this ledge coming up right down here, there we go, perfect, that was both races. Noobii didn't take damage. I have seen in my cast a lot of us take damage trying to round that final corner before the segment crawler section. But segment crawler, we're looking to see those middle pieces slide out first. Segment slider, I'm sorry, I was saying crawler. Segment slider, we want those middle pieces to slide out so we can actually damage the core in the center there. You will see, as he did last race, Noobii may switch to katanas at points in times just to make sure that they can do some damage if those middle segments aren't moving out fast enough. And yep, Noobii uses that tactic just to finish off the boss. Alta's working on Robo White now, opting to just try to deflect back the shield and try to stick to pistols and use movement to try to keep the open part of the shield from blocking their bullets. As Noobii quickly progresses to the Nemesis Core. Nemesis Core Phase 1 here. It's not too difficult of a boss. We've got some spiky walls that come in, we've got some bullets, we've got some lasers, and it even might drop some bombs on us. But as they shoot those bullets out there, pay close attention to that eye in the middle there. That eye will tell us whether or not they're going to be purple or yellow bullets and whether or not we can deflect them. And now Noobies on the Crazy Movement Nemesis Core 2. Waiting to see, hopefully, yep, there's some good deflections there. Wow, that's a great example there of the slash shot we were talking about earlier. If not timed appropriately, that is a big damage nerf. But looks like Noobie's doing a pretty good job right today, and seeing a lot of high damage there. And that is that for Nemesis Core Part 2 for Noobie, as Altafen is now going deeper into the warship. Trying to avoid those purple globs that contain bullets, because we don't want to hit it. Let's see if Altafen does actually get a pretty decent corner there. Moving on to the segment slider, as Noobie now is having the warship very off balance, and we have screen tilts and everything going through this last section here before anti-battalion. Quick, there's Valentine, let's get her! But she's going to escape, unfortunately. We'll get to her soon. Alta is going on the segment slider here, gets a good deflection in. Noobie's first anti-battalion form is the bullets! Those unfortunate, yes. Yes, Evie knows. The iframes are unfortunate. Should just have the showdown on the warship. Oh, we get to see our first Pac-Man for a Noobie. Pac-Man's the one we like to see here. He stays in the form for a while, and oh, unfortunately that was a yellow Pac-Man. Pac-Man at the end will either go yellow or purple. And if, obviously, like everything else in the game, if they're purple, at the end of the Pac-Man we're able to deflect for even more damage. Alta taking an intentional death after that fight. Resetting the health to 100. And a Noobie is sailing on down. Gonna pick up their last ride from the Whale Core onto the showdown. As Altafen is starting off Nemesis Core 1. And gets a good set of deflections. Ooh, unfortunately misses the first deflection, but ooh, that was a lot of purple bullets that phase for the Nemesis Core. Noobie now going into showdown, phase 1. Unfortunately, the people have lost faith in Rin, and we need to show them in a nice big arena with huge speakers, by the way, how much better Rin is than Valentine. We gotta make the people remember, you know? People have, you know, short-term memories, so hopefully by phase 5, the people will be back on our side. We'll have to wait and see. First phase from Valentine is down. And the people are still throwing tomatoes and tin cans at Rin. Phase 2 is our minion phase, where we'll see Valentine try to get a lot of fodder on the screen. A lot of those bullet sponges. But Noobie's having none of it. Noobie just keeping those bullets going directly into Valentine. And then finishing off phase 2. Altafen is smoking Nemesis Core version 2. Moving on to the stage before anti-battalion, as Noobie is now having to deal with Valentine as she teleports all over the place. There's a lot of good shots there. I couldn't even see Valentine trying to start up the laser there. Also resetting, getting that health back. Oof, that was a great deflection there by Noobie, coming all the way up to that line of yellow bullets, deflecting and getting back without the yellow bullets actually dealing any damage. Noobie slowing down time, making sure that they take care of Valentine during that last transition. Now you see Noobie running off the screen a bunch, trying to take as much damage as possible, and we do this for a short animation skip there. Start up full health, phase 5, and right into the fight. Now we're going to need to wait to see, now that Noobie has won back the crowd, we're going to need the crowd's help here to break down that shield. And if we do it right, we should be able to stun lock the boss here. And so far, 2 phases, good for Noobie. Going for the third. Third phase looks beautiful. One more. Yes! Noobii has done it. Finished off Valentine. Altafen working on anti-battalion, getting a shark here. Noobies now saved the world. It's time for them to kick back, maybe play some video games back at home. While Altafen will be moving on towards the showdown now. Look at all those roses. Lots of love for Rin here. And Altafen now, getting the last ride on the whale core to the showdown. Oh, unfortunately Noobii's video games got interrupted by a jealous former rival. Unfortunately, all that goodwill did not actually turn out well for the rival in Rin, as they are still very jealous of Rin. So, looks like we have to put the rival one more time back into their place, and let them know that Rin is the greatest hero. The first phase up here we have is the Mantis Core. Noobii getting a nice deflection there. Should be finishing that off handedly. Moving on to the Whale Core. The Whale Core was such a help to us this fight, getting us to and from the warship. But unfortunately, it's time for the Whale Core to go. So Noobii here is going to be doing a very quick platforming section. You want to make sure you do that as fast as possible, because the Whale Core will shoot a large laser at you. But we didn't get to see that because Noobii was quick. And now with the Whale Core here, we're going to look to try to deflect. That was an amazing deflection in there. Just barely, narrowly getting in between those yellow missiles and deflecting the purple one. Whale Core now is going to be just going back and forth on the screen, which we don't like, because if it's not on the screen, we can't shoot it. Alta just finishing it off his minion section there. Working on the slowdown as Noobii takes down the Whale Core. But wait! There's more! Spider Core! Spider Core has a few different attacks. They'll also have a chance to fall off to the other side of the screen. Noobii is doing a good job there, just staying up high and close, being able to employ that slash shot tactic against the Spider Core here. We're unfortunately not seeing any nice big missiles that we can deflect right back in and do a lot of extra damage. Oh, we might have got a missile right at the end there, but I believe Noobii took care of it before we could actually see the missile going off. Alta just got their death skip. It's excited for the phase 5 of Valentine. Let's just check a peek at Alta here. Come on, Alta, you've got this. Let's get that stun locked down. That looks like a good stun. One more. Yes, Alta. That's what we're talking about. Nice stun lock from the final phase of Valentine there. Noobii's working on the crawling core here. There are rumors that this can be done pacifist style, as the crawler core will take damage every time it walks into a dirt block. I have yet to see anybody brave enough to try a pacifist crawler core yet, but maybe we'll get to see that someday. But Noobii's making quick short work of this, and they're looking like they're heading off to their final boss against the final fight against the rival, the 2 health bar rival. Oh, and another TV goes down on Altafen's screen. Looks like the rival needs to be taught another lesson from Altafen. Ooh, Noobii trying for a little bit of tennis, but bails out. Unfortunately, there we've seen some bad RNG. That was an early katana attack. We don't want to see the katana from the rival. The katana is an undeflectable attack, and basically it's not that hard to avoid or not that much damaging, but we can't hit him during that, and we don't like that. Good deflection there by Noobii. And switching over, getting some good katanas in there. Goes again for the Pong. Ooh, absolutely destroys the rival in the Pong match. And that'll be the fight. We're looking at, as soon as we see that game clear sign, 23-40, 23-44 on their screen. GG. That is going to be Noobii's second win, and will make him the winner of tonight's match. Altafen is working on Whale Core right now. Not far behind at all. Just a few stages away. Phases away, I'm sorry. Not stages. Doing a good job there. Let's actually switch over to Alta's. Let's see if Alta has some game audio for us to listen in on. Doing a good job fighting that Whale Core. If I can find my cursor, I will actually try to get the audio going. It doesn't look like Alta has any game audio at the moment, so unfortunately we'll just sit here and watch. Game audio, no game music. This. Alright, Alta making sure work of the Whale Core. Moving on to the Spider Core now. Spider Core here has a few different attacks like we had talked about when we were watching Noobii. Unfortunately, we're seeing the same kind of RNG that Noobii got. We want to see a big missile come out of that center section so we can deflect it back for great damage. And yes, unfortunately, I think Altafen has game sounds on, but not game music. Or he might be actually completely muted on there. So you know what? And Noobi's got an ad up right now, so we'll just leave it without any game audio right now. So Alta is now moving on to the Crawling Core, the last fight before we have to go against the 2 health bar rival. I'm going to actually be able to see a deflection here from Alta. I don't believe we actually got to see that attack on Noobi's stream. Once we, this is a pretty simple fight here. Alta's handling it very well, making a lot of, breaking a lot of those blocks, making sure they have ultimate, movement and mobility while they're fighting this boss. And stays far enough away. You see the yellow surrounding the Crawling Core there, meaning we were not able to deflect it. There's also another way. There's a small path between the bottom arm and the main core where we are attacking, where you can slide in. Alta now back onto the rival fight, opting not to go for an intentional death there, feeling pretty confident with their health bar. Gets a good deflection there, opts to... not a fan of Pong. Wasn't his kind of game. Ooh, good slow down with the dash there to make sure that he ensures that deflection. We really want to make sure we can deflect the rival when they're going after a purple katana attack on us, as that knocks them to the ground and gives us a few more tenths of a second to do damage where the rival isn't moving at all. And yep, that's a great example of it again. Purple katanas we love. Yellow katanas, which we see right after that, we don't like. Yellow katanas are a no-go, meaning we can't do any damage to them and we can't deflect the attack. But Alta is doing a great job right now. Looking good. Hasn't taken a hit yet on this fight. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a little bit of a commentator curse. But Altafen's better than that and doesn't make me regret saying that he hadn't taken a hit. GG, Alta. GG, both guys. That was a great race from both of you all. Yes, I'm sorry. As soon as I said it, the commentator's curse, I will... let me check with our races now to see if we're going to do any post-game interviews or anything like that. Alrighty, everybody. It seems like we will not be doing a post-race interview today, but if you haven't gotten your Bleed 2 speed racing fill, make sure you tune in tomorrow to this channel, because we will be having our next race in the SABR tournament. And if I check the schedule real quick, I'll let you know, because I don't want to say the wrong names. I looked at this before. There it is. We will be having a Hospital versus Sin race at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that. I know I will be. So, like I said, I've been DudeCasey, and this has been the SABR tournament of Bleed 2. I want to thank everybody for coming out today and watching the race. I want to make a special thanks to our racers today for putting on one heck of a show. And... yeah, thanks to the whole community, because without all of us, we couldn't do it. So, thank you all, and once again, that is 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow at right here on the same channel, Bleed Running. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day.